one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome back to the Florida CME Group here, Tuesday, June 14th, Flag Day. Fly your flag and fly it proud, folks. I'm Killer from Treasury Curve. I got cash, I can help. We got a great institutional money market portal trading platform. You can get me at The Killer. Comment here on this video if you need some help managing overnight cash. Let's look at this market, folks. Maybe that back team worked yesterday. You know, we're seeing a pretty good bounce here. You know, the Dow Jones up about 120, S&P's up about 15, 16 handles. You know, we saw the retail sales come in a little bit better than expected. However, we did have 2 revisions, so we're seeing a pretty substantial bounce. I don't think it's from the data today. I think it's from a little bit of an oversold situation. However, this could be the pop that you want to sell into. You know, I've talked about this, you know, SPOO 1284. That was a killer magnet back a couple months ago. Well, boom, that's the high today, folks. I tweeted that this morning. Hope you're able to follow me on Twitter because I'm putting out a lot of ideas here. But you know, this kind of reminds me, you know, this market right here. Back in my college football days, I played at the University of Notre Dame for Coach Holtz. And I remember Coach Holtz was really frustrated one day with one of our backup quarterbacks, who will remain nameless during this story. But nonetheless, he was very, very upset and frustrated because the backup quarterback continued to get the play wrong. So he went up to him and he asked him, you know, what state are you in? And you know, he just looks at Coach and says, huh? He goes, what state are you in? So finally he goes, I don't know, Coach. He goes, I'm going to ask you one more time, what state are you in? And he said, the state of Indiana? He said, no, you're in a state of confusion. So Coach Holtz is really kind of let him know he's a state of confusion. Maybe this market is a little bit of state of confusion. You know, you look at the TVs today, the double dip's gone, everything's okay. After one day, essentially, yesterday was pretty much a muted flat day, and we're seeing a little bit of a rally today. So I think we're getting a little overzealous here. I don't think some of the damage to the downside is done. We did not hit that 200-day moving average in the S&P, which I really like to look at on the chart. You know, 1245-ish. I think we're going to go back down there. So this 1284 should work well. It's a good cap here. You know, I really think, you know, it's a big month. Obviously, we have QE2 drop date. You know, we have the debt ceiling. The debt ceiling, everyone's talking about it. I think it is going to obviously be resolved, but you know, how much more Bactine in the wound before it gets resolved? But we're confident it's going to get resolved. There's no real choice, folks. The Eurozone crisis, that persists. And I think everyone has forgotten about this Middle East geopolitical situation. Is that still happening? Yes, it is. So we will see how that all folds out. You know, the weekly pivot in the S&P 1273.50. You know, we're seeing on the chart that 1273.78 is acting as a little bit of a band of support. Back under that weekly pivot, it's negative again, folks. So play these pivots here. Use this as a trade. I know some people think it's a little bit old school to look at that, but all the high frequency trading systems are doing are replicating some old school traders in a much faster environment. So be mindful of that. 30-year weekly pivot, 125.11.5. We're really seeing rates move today. You know, we've had a sensational move down in rates, up in price, and I think we've seen some selling today. You know, we talked about that yesterday at 125.25. If we fail underneath that, it should be a substantial move. We have come off there pretty good. Now 123.30, I believe, is a low. I have some support here, 123.25. You know, with this 30-year at 4.30%, that's a pretty good move today. You know, down well over a point. So is this a buying opportunity, or is there more selling to come? I foresee it as a buying opportunity. 10-year weekly pivot, 123.15.5. You know, we talked about that 123.25 level. When it failed there, it really came off all the way down currently to 122.18, and we're seeing that, you know, that yield get back above 3%. It went up to 3.08%. Pretty substantial move, folks. Hope you're on the right side of it. Don't get stubborn with your trades, especially in these treasuries. You know, the VIX, you know, has come off about $1.50 today. It's back down around that 18 level. Really showing some complacency in the market and a lack of fear. We'll see if that is able to be sustained throughout the day. Are these gains in the equities sustainable today? It's question of the day, $1 million, $1 trillion question, no doubt about it. Crude oil, you know, we're seeing a little bit of a more slash, 96.51 on the low side, 98.29. That 95 is the lower end of that support band I've been speaking to for a while. So key on the 95 level, we make a new low. Could be some reorganization of some portfolios. The euro currency, 143.39 to 144.46. I think it's that in the state of confusion as well. We continue to look at Trichet for his comments, his timing, and all the different restructuring. There's a lot of moving parts over there. So be nimble and be quick there. And one other thing for the rest of the day, remember, be the hammer, not the nail.
Bacon is good for